This is Paul Newman, and if you are seeing this screen, I am hoping to assure. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Thank you very much for taking the time to join me in this video. It's very much appreciated. Thank you very much. We're going to crack on today with keeping on reviewing the 2024 classics. It's been a while since we've done a 2024 classic review video, all the way back, I think, to when Classic Watch 2024 host Sparkling Plenty took out the French Oaks. There was two classics after that, really. There was the Irish Oaks and the German Oaks, and then we had about a 2-month gap between them and then the UK St Leger and the Irish St Leger. So what I've managed to do is I've managed to collate those 4 races together for you for one video, so we can continue looking at the 2024 classics. Just a couple left after this, really. We've got the Japanese St Leger and the French St Leger. The German St Leger has already been and is only a Group 3 race, so that will not be covered at all in this. Just the Group 1 races to come, the Japanese St Leger and the French St Leger. But before we start, where can people find all these horses? classicwatch24.great/site.net is the place to find all these horses. You'll see there that the Roll of Honour hasn't really been updated for a while, it's fair to say. When a horse gets on the site, the races it's won are put on there. But it's been a long, long time since I've gone through and had a look to see what races horses on the site have actually taken out, that's for sure. So the Roll of Honour is pretty sparse at the moment. To be fair to myself, that's a job I have slacked off on this season. It's normally a lot more up to date than it is, but now I should imagine at the end of December, when the year is coming to an end, it'll probably just get done once, rather than being updated all through the season. People will see there that all the horses are in their specific sections. The Japanese trained horses, Australian trained horses, USA, Germany, France, Italy, and the UK already represented on Classic Watch 24. Right, the first race we're going to take a look at is we're going to go back to July now, and we're going to go back to the Curragh in Ireland for the 2024 Irish Oaks. This race I thought cut up quite badly, and I'm not sure it was the strongest renewal of the race that people will see. In fact, a couple of days before the race, it turned out that Classic Watch 24 had no horses for the race at all. Horses like Azalea, who won the UK Oaks, was injured before the race. And we had others as well that chose to bypass the race. So what I did is I had to have a look at the field, what they had presented me, and tried to give the site some interest, with it being only a 3-year-old race. We'll take a look at the horses I did find in a minute, but first it's time to take a look at the race, the Irish Oaks.
White flag is raised. Madame Celeste, last one, and they're lined up. And they're off. They break away over a 1.5 miles, the Group 1 Juddmonte Irish Oaks, with Irish, English and French representations. And the leader is Rubies Are Red, gone on a length in front of stable companion Port Fairy. Close up as they race the end of just under 2 furlongs is Dare to Dream. On the inside is Lope de Lila, followed by Couture Looking and Purple Lily next. Racing together, You Got to Me. And alongside is Madame Celeste, and then the grey Lava Stream, Content well back, followed by Galileo Dame, Hanali, Elizabeth James. And War Chimes, they're pretty well spaced out, less than 9 furlongs to go. In the lead is Rubies Are Red, upholds that 1 length advantage over Port Fairy. A break of 1.5 lengths to Lope de Lila, who's just shading the third from Dare to Dream. 2 lengths to Kutcher Looking as they race the end of the first half mile. About to soon make the turn, bring them uphill towards the top of the track. Little has changed up front. It is Rubies Are Red, the leader from Port Fairy, being followed by Lope de Lila, who will make the turn just third on the inside from Dare to Dream as they go uphill inside the final 7 furlongs. Dare to Dream is being followed by Kutcher Looking, running the rail Purple Lily, and then you got to me and Madame Celeste, Content, Lava Stream, Hanalia next, and then Galileo Dame as War Chimes relegates Elizabeth Jane to be the back marker. They've passed the halfway stage. 5 furlongs to go. They're right up at the top of the track. The Judd Irish Oaks, and still leading the field is Rubies Are Red and Declan McDonough from Port Fairy and Wayne Lord and Handy in second. Disputing third place, Lope de Lila and James Doyle on the inside of Dare to Dream and Alexis Pouchon, being followed round the home turn by Kutcher Looking and then Purple Lily, Madame Celeste, You Got to Me and Content next on the inside of Lava Stream. As they enter the straight towards the back is Hanalia, Galileo Dame, Elizabeth Jane and War Chimes back at the rear once more. 2.5 furlongs to go and they're bunching up. Port Fairy takes Rubies Are Red into a challenging position as Dare to Dream with on the inside Lope de Lila, Purple Lily, You Got to Me is coming home powerfully in the centre, and then comes Kutcher Looking. Content is racing onto their heels, and then Elizabeth Jane. It's You Got to Me who's got to the front from Purple Lily. Content is flashing home on the outside, but it is You Got to Me, another big day at the collar for Ralph Beckett as You Got to Me won the Judd Irish Oaks under Hector Crouch from Content. Purple Lily next.
Good performance on the day there, I think, from the Rafe Beckett trained You Got to Me to take out the Irish Oaks at the Curragh. Like I said, like the commentator said, ridden by Hector Crouch, trained by Rafe Beckett, the Nathaniel sired You Got to Me, the horse named after the Rothschild son. Nathaniel, unfortunately, sires a classic winner as You Got to Me does the job on the day, running to a mark of 112, which I think is fair to say is what it is, that rating. The Galileo side, Content was second, running to a mark of 111 for Aidan O'Brien. And third home was the Paddy Toomey trained Calix side, Purple Lily, who ran to a mark of 107. Fourth, Elizabeth Jane, running to a mark of 105, trained by Dermot Weld, the Dubawi sired mare. Like I said, I had to go through this race right at the end. It was a very substandard renewal, I thought, which is evidenced by the low Racing Post rating that it took to win the race. The two I found, Lope de Lila as well, very disappointing. 11th out of 14 in the Irish Oaks, and the horse hasn't been seen since. Managing on the day to run to a mark of 92, which was lower than when it won its maiden, off a mark of 95 in May at Leopardstown. Very disappointing run on the day from the Wafnan Racing owned mare, and she hasn't been seen since, which is disappointing as well, considering her stallion side 2 classic winners in France. The other one I landed on nearer the race was the Ribblesdale winner, Port Fairy. I really dismissed this horse at Chester when she was beaten by Forest Fairy because she didn't travel at all that day. She travelled a lot better at Royal Ascot when winning the Ribblesdale, running to what is so far a career high mark of 108 to take out that Group 2 race. She was last but one on that day, 13th out of 14 in the Irish Oaks. And since I've actually identified her, the horse has only beaten 2 home in 2 races because she was only 7th of 8 in the Yorkshire Oaks as well, which was ran after the Irish Oaks. But that race, unfortunately, isn't a classic. People will see that Content bounced back to win the Yorkshire Oaks after finishing second in the Irish Oaks. a result which gave Stallion Galileo his 100th individual Group 1 winner. What a truly incredible stallion that horse has been. But as for Port Fairy, sired by Australia, again, very disappointing performance on the day, it's fair to say. We're going to skip forward now about 2 or 3 weeks for the second and final look at the German classics. In the 2024 Classic Series, we took a look at Classic Watch 24, Hopeful Borner's heroic effort to land the German Derby in the last Classic Watch review. Seems so long ago, doesn't it? We're now going to move forward into early August and take a look at the German Oaks. To be honest, my three German Oaks horses at the stage at the start of the season, Maigret, Shigara and Waldfrieda, none of the horses actually turned up on the day. So again, rather like the Irish Oaks, it was a need to have a look in the 7 or 10 days leading up to the race and see what I could find. What basically, just looking at the races, what they presented to me on the day. It was a massive failure to do that in the Irish Oaks, and hopefully it will turn out better in the German Oaks, where I landed on Dia, who looked a good horse for Gustav Brammerhoff after winning a trial on, I think, what was only her second start. But before we take a look at what happened, let's take a look at the German Oaks, and we will take a look at what happened on the day.
Standside running rail is coming forward now to be the last one of these for this Henkel Priester Diana. 2,200 metres is the trip that they have, just over 1 second in front of them. And they're away. They get going here with Lingua Franca a little slower than the others away. Darnation and Erler have taken good prominent positions. Dia in New York City, and also Prima Valentina and Jazua towards the front rank of runners to Bubblegum. Lingua Franca right in behind the leaders now has moved into 5th position. Lady Mary's behind this as they run away to the far side. Then Spanish Eyes and Velbester is back in the field to Diamond Crown. Hope and Believe is the back marker at the moment, and also as they turn away, Knight of Lackeys is a little deep on the course, but it's Erler's gone through to lead. From on the right there, the grey jacket in New York City running in 2nd place. Lingua Franca, white and green colours against the running rail is next, and Dia, a yellow cap on a black jacket, is right in behind those running in 4th. Darnation comes next, one off the running rail. Beige and blue colours with Lady Mary, a beige and maroon jacket, followed by Jazoo and Princess Valentina, both in blue and white. Spanish Eyes in a red cap is in behind this to Knight of Lackeys. Further back behind these is Diamond Crown, and then comes Velbester. Ashana the Grey has only one behind her at this stage, which is Hope and Believe, and just preceding her the check sleeves and check cap of Bubblegum, but they're already heading towards the home turn, and it's Erler who leads. Martin Sadel in front, to New York City in 2nd place, and Lingua Franca behind these is showing in 3rd as they move into the home straight, 2 lengths off the leaders. Behind those with the yellow cap is Dia. Then comes Lady Mary up into 5th position, and closing on the inside of Darnation. Zazoo is behind these, and then Princess Valentina. But Earl continues to be the leader, and they're very well strung out here. New York City is in 2nd place, the only one to throw down a challenge. Lingua Franca, Lady Mary, Darnation behind these. Erler is still in front, is asked for more and responding and pulling away. Erler's now 2 or 3 lengths edge. He's going to make all here. New York City is in danger of losing 2nd to Spanish Eyes, who's finishing very strongly. But it is Erler who has made all the running and holds on, eventually just by a length, to Spanish Eyes in 2nd place, who really got going in the closing stages. But Erler had already settled this race. She's made all the running here, this big roan filly, to hold on and win by a length or so. Martin Sadel.
Very good front-running performance there from the filly, it's fair to say. Early, however you pronounce it, to take out the 166th Henkel Priester Diana, the German Oaks, trained by Maxime Pecheur and ridden by Martin Seidel, the reliable man side filly. I think that was his first European Grade 1 victory for the stallion. He's a good stallion. He does well in New Zealand and Australia. But yeah, I think that was his first European top level success. The horse went into a mark of 111, just one less than what it took to win the Irish Oaks. The German Oaks has been taken out in the only one rating left for the Gestut Rotgen owned horse. And they also bred the horse as well. Second was the Zamak side, Spanish Eyes, trained by Andreas Wohler and ridden by Thor Hammer Hansen. That ran to a mark of 109. And then there was a fair gap on the ratings then, and a 4.5 length gap, to be fair to them too. The third place, the Lawman side, Lady Mary, trained by Andres Suberich and ridden by CY Ho, ran to a Racing Post rating on the day of 103 to finish third. Dia, on the other hand, I had to say, ran a very poor race, and she only managed to finish last, running to a mark of 73 on the day. Another one that hasn't been seen since, winning a listed Mulheim trial off a mark of 105 and then running to a mark of 73 on the big day is clearly not what is required from this Classic Watch 24 horse. The ironic thing is, a horse out of the dam, Diamanta, actually broke the German sales record not so long after Dia's sloppy performance in the German Oaks. So it was good to see that nobody was put off by this performance. This remains a very good dam line, without any shadow of a doubt. And it's disappointing that Dia hasn't been seen yet again at this stage, unfortunately. It was then that we had a 6 to 8 week break, really, regarding classic trials, and then we were back an up-tin trip for the two St Ledgers, taking place in the middle of this month, firstly in the UK at Doncaster, and then in Ireland at the Curragh. We're going to take a look at both these races, starting with the UK one, which featured the Classic Watch 24 hopeful Jan Bruegel taking on trial winner and fellow Classic Watch 24 hopeful Grosvenor Square on the day. A great racing prospect, and let's take a look at it now.
And he's in, all set, 7 runners ready, and they're off and racing for the Betfred St Ledger of 2024 of this historic trip of an extended 1.75 miles, and they're moving away from us down the far side with Grosvenor Square emerging as the early pace setter, as most of us expected. But he's not gone tearing off, because Illinois is within about a length of him on the outside. Wild Waves is racing in third place ahead of Jan Bruegel on the outside in the maroon and blue colours. Sunway restrained by Christophe Soumillon. At this stage, You Got To Me is on the outside, taking a little bit of a grip, and locked away in last place. And nice and chilled is Dayra Mile in the hands of Jason Watson in the green blinkers as they move away from us, go past the 1.5 mile start and complete their first 3 furlongs or so here. Out in front then, Grosvenor Square and Gavin Ryan. Illinois in second, Wayne Lorden a length and a half down. And then Wild Waves and Danny Tudhope. On his outside is Jan Bruegel and Sean Levy, defending his unbeaten record here in this classic. And then Sunway is in the yellow jacket on the inside of the Irish Oaks heroine You Got To Me and Hector Crouch. And then looking on still is the Derby fourth, Dayra Mile, who's about 8 lengths behind now. The pace seems to be a very medium type of pace here, being set by Grosvenor Square. And Gavin Ryan, he's not gone shooting off as he did when he won by 20 lengths last time out. But they're moving now towards the inside the final mile of the contest, over on the far side of Town Moor, and he's just beginning to step on it a little bit now. Grosvenor Square from Illinois in second, 2 lengths away, followed in third place by Wild Waves. On the outside, Jan Bruegel, And then You Got To Me is just flanking Sunway as the runners move down towards the final 3/4 of a mile. Dara Mile is racing in last place, but still travelling well. In fact, all 7 runners in the Ledger are moving very comfortably indeed then as they come into view now from the grandstands with 5 furlongs left to travel, and they're going to turn into the home straight now, led in by Grosvenor Square, making it a true test. Illinois poised to strike on his outside as a length and a half down, followed then by Jan Bruegel. Wider out You Got To Me, getting a little bit closer. Sunway creeping into it in the yellow jacket. Wild Wave still in there, pitching the outsider on the rail. And then Dara Mile. Nobody's shown their hand yet. Who's going to blink first? They're past the 3 furlong marker and beginning to move down towards the climax of the 2024 Betfred St Ledger, and Illinois eases to the front, being chased hard now by Jan Bruegel as Grosvenor Square gives way. Sunway is challenging for third. Dara Mile is picking up on the outside. You Got To Me has flattened out. Wild Waves is 6th. They're racing towards the final furlong. The 2 Aidan O'Brien Hotbots. Illinois on the inside. Jan Bruegel. Dara Mile on the outside trying to close with Sunway. Jan Bruegel and Illinois above the heads as they go towards the line. And Jan Bruegel 4 out of 4 and wins the Ledger. Illinois in second. Sunway and Dara Mile in a photo for third. Back in 5th place behind them was the front-running Grosvenor Square. Another for Aidan O'Brien.
Well, what can people say? Starting to learn a lot about how to identify these horses. Like I said, the first 2 races that we took a look at, the horses that I'd identified months out from the race, they all failed to get there for one reason or another, not being good enough or being injured or being better over different trips, whatever. This race here at Doncaster, the UK St Ledger, turned out a bit differently. Jan Bruegel was identified really years ago because Dawn Rising, it's actually a full brother to that, graded National Hunt winner. Illinois wasn't really that strong out on, even though it did win at Royal Ascot. He's proved himself to be a solid horse. Grosvenor Square, the other Galileo on the day, like the commentator said, I don't think that horse was given the best chance on the day to show his best run in there. You know, he was streaked away, gave Tower of London an almighty fright in the Curragh Cup, and then come out and won the Irish St Ledger Trial Grade 3 by 20 lengths, and could only finish 5th. But it was the Galileo side, Jan Bruegel, the 101st individual Group 1 winner, sired by Galileo, running to a mark of 120 to win the UK St Ledger. Good performance on the day, defeating Illinois, another Galileo side horse, by a neck. With the third horse was the Derby 4th, although it was actually Sunway finished 4th and was placed 3rd, as Dara Mile was actually relegated to 4th. Both horses, the Galloway side Sunway and the Camelot side Dara Mile, running to Racing Post ratings of 117. Jan Bruegel taking his career to 4 runs, 4 wins. Slow, steady improvement from 103 on an 8-length maiden win in May to 120, taking out a UK Classic in September. It's been an absolute pleasure to identify this horse and to watch the horse go round. And hopefully now, as he leaves his classics behind, he will go on to have a fantastic stallion career at some point. Although I'll be very surprised if the horse has finished racing yet. Grosvenor Square, the other one we need to look at. Well, disappointing. People see there, second behind Tower of London, 115. 20-length victory over Courageous Strike in the Group 3, running to a mark of 117, and then back down to 110, beaten 6 1/4 lengths, only finishing 5th of 7. The 2 trials, the 2 classics, he's flopped on his big day. He flopped when 7th of 8 behind Los Angeles in the Irish Derby, and here behind Jan Bruegel, 5th out of 7. The horse just seems to have a different jockey every time he runs as well. That's another way that they've disrupted the horse. Hennessy, Keane, Heffernan, Moore, Lorden, Ryan, Moore and Ryan. The horse has had no opportunity to strike up a relationship with any jockey. Doesn't have to be necessarily the stable jockey, does it, Ryan Moore? It could just have to be the any jockey at all. So very unfortunate, really, that Grosvenor Square seems to have been relegated, I will say, to a bit part in the classics. Because I do feel the horse has proved in a couple of runs that he's a lot better than that. And it will be interesting to see how the horse progresses through the rest of his career. The final ledger of the video we're going to take a look at is the first that is allowing older aged horses to take part in classics this year. I was hoping that we had the UK St Ledger winner from last year, Continuous, was entered at the 5-day stage, but he decided to go and get beat on Longchamp Park Trials Day instead, rather than take in the Irish Classic. So on the day, we were left with no runners. Not very few runners in general took part in the race, and not many of them were 3-year-olds, which is all we focus on really on a Classic Watch, the 3-year-olds. There's 24 incarnations, so obviously there was no horses running for us. So let's take a look anyway at the Irish St Ledger at the Curragh, shall we? And then we will be to wrap it up and end the video.
White flag raised as the winner of 22, Kyprios, and the favourite completes loading at the mile 6. Thereof in the Comer Group International Irish St Ledger with an English runner and 2 from Germany, very much adding an international dimension. It's the Euphrates who leads up stable companion Kyprios, the end of a furlong, racing together on Giovanotto and Nastaria, and then Vauban and Valdadler. Continuing on over on the far side as they race the end of the first quarter and striding on by 3.5 lengths, the Euphrates and Wayne Lorden, followed in second place by Kyprios and Ryan Moore. Just third is Giovanotto and Oisin Murphy from Nastaria and Miguel Lopez, and then Valdadler, Shemi Heffernan with sixth of the 6, Vauban and William Buick. Very few changes with the leader, the Euphrates, by less than 3 lengths to Kyprios, bidding to win back the race, having finished second last year, the winner the year before. Just third now is Nastaria from Giovanotto, Valdadler, and Vauban are the final couple. Racing inside the final 9 furlongs, and it's the Euphrates by a couple of lengths to Kyprios. And then Nastaria, the noseband of Giovanotto. Next on the inside is Valdadler. And trailing the field at the end of the opening 3/4 of a mile is Vauban. As they tighten up, the Euphrates with a greatly reduced advantage over stable companion Kyprios. Valdadler is taking closer order on the inside as they climb uphill past the 7 furlong point, marking the halfway stage. And then Nastaria, Giovanotto and Vauban. It's the Euphrates by less than a length now to Kyprios as they come inside the final 6 furlongs, racing together. The 2 German runners, Nastaria and Valdadler. In between horses is Giovanotto and a couple of lengths to Vauban, the right at the top of the track. In the Comer Group International Irish St Ledger. Matching strides now with 5 to run, the Euphrates and Kyprios on terms, followed by Valdadler, and then Nastaria, Giovanotto and Vauban, beginning the downhill run for the home straight with 4 furlongs to go. And as Kyprios went out from the rail, on the inside in the greens is the Euphrates, who still just shades it, the Nastaria, tracked for the approach to the straight by Giovanotto. Valdadler falls back on the inside, and finally Vauban, they're in the straight. Less than 3 furlongs to go. The Euphrates and Kyprios continuing 1 and 2, being followed after a break 2 lengths Giovanotto, then Vauban, who's up in the 4th from last. It's Kyprios who just picks it up from the Euphrates. 2 clear to Vauban and Giovanotto, leaving behind Nastaria and Valdadler. It's Kyprios, fractional leader inside the final furlong, and now moves on from the Euphrates. Vauban, Giovanotto next on the outside, but it is Kyprios, the superstar there, reclaims the Irish St Ledger. Second is Vauban, third is Giovanotto and the Euphrates, and 4th, 5th and 6th respectively Nastaria and Valdadler.
Well, that race was what it was. Hello, everybody. Wasn't it? Whoops, sorry. That race was what it was, wasn't it? It's fair to say the Irish St Ledger being taken out by the Galileo sired Kyprios. trained by Aidan O'Brien, ridden by Ryan Moore, who took out the race by 2¼ lengths, running to a mark of 121, which is the best performance of the 4 races. But then again, Kiprios is a 6-year-old. Second place was the Galloway sired Vauban, running to a mark of 116. Grade 1 winning hurdler, classic placed on the flat, the 6-year-old. And the third on the day was the Marco Botti trained Giovanotto, sired by Master Craftsman, ridden by Oisin Murphy, running to a mark of 115. The only 3-year-old in the race, the Euphrates, sired by Frankel, finished 4th, running to a mark of 114. And it was so easy to see there why German staying races were only of grade 3 qualities, weren't it? Wasn't it? The 2 German raiders, Nastaria and Wildadler, well beaten on the day, it's fair to say. I thought the commentator there was a bit of a joke, really, at the start. International feel with Giovanotto and the 2 German raiders. I think he really should get a job in the Iraqi propaganda department, that commentator. You know, I think that is fair to say that race was what it was. That's it, really. That wraps up this latest 2024 Classic Review. Thank you very much, everybody, for taking the time to revisit these 4 races with me. Things we've learnt, really, from these videos is if the horses aren't there for the races, they just aren't there. Can't really force them in. I maybe tried to force them in the Irish and German Oaks. They weren't there. Let nature take its course. In the UK St Leger, and a much more positive result was gained there. Maybe a lesson for us all there. Like I said at the start of the video, we've still got a couple of 2024 classics in the final quarter of the year, namely the French and the Japanese St Legers. We might even chuck in some Australian classics in there if they fall right on the calendar. We're having the preludes and the early trials for some Australian classics. Forgot about them. They can easily come in to these videos. Right, yeah, very good. I amazed myself there with some live thoughts. What about that? Right, I'm going to end this video here. Thank you very much, everybody. What I will do is I will leave a copy of the 2024 Classic Watch playlist that contains sort of all the processes from identifying the horses late last year. And it also contains the other 2024 Classic review videos. So people will be able to review all the 2024 Classics if they wish to. And I will also give everybody an opportunity who has watched this video and has chosen not to subscribe to the channel. I will give everybody an opportunity to subscribe to the channel if they wish to also. But for now, I'm going to end this video here. An interesting week of 2-year-old racing coming up at Newmarket and at the Curragh, at the Beresford. We're getting to the Group 1 races now. Over 6 furlongs to Cheveley Park and the Middle Park in the UK. And we've got some interesting 7 furlong races, such as the Rockfell and the Royal Lodge as well, as we work towards the end of the UK and, well, the European flat season. But for now, I'm going to end this video here. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic day. Enjoy the rest of your week, and goodbye.